Welcome everyone to an actual guide to playing as SCP-939, not to be confused with How to Master 939, which is a short 2-minute meme. In this video, we're going to take a serious, in-depth look at all the strengths and weaknesses of SCP-939, and after analyzing them, discovering a perfect playstyle for how 939 should be played, or at least what the best way to play him as should be. So without further ado, let's just begin. Starting off with the strengths of SCP-939, we have his speed, the fact that there's more than one of them, his vision, and his voice chat. When it comes to speed, SCP-939 is the fastest SCP in the entire game. They are able to keep up with D-Class and other humans as they run away at full sprint, and eventually when they run out of sprint can easily catch up to them and kill them. Compared to other SCPs such as the Plague Doctor and Peanut, the dog has a much more significant advantage when it comes to speed. The only one that can combat SCP-939's speed is the Peanut. However, as long as you look at Peanut, his speed is not at all an issue in the slightest, because as we all know, as long as you look at him, there's nothing he can do. So other than technically SCP-173, 939 is the fastest SCP in the game, who is single-handedly capable of keeping up with the humans as they sprint or walk without any form of weakness. And also, he is the only SCP with two different versions of hunting. There is his quiet mode and his fast mode. If you don't hit shift while you run around or walk around as a dog, your footsteps are completely silent, and it sounds like this. See? Nothing. You don't hear anything. However, when you hit shift, your footsteps sound extremely similar to a human, and you start moving, well, rather quickly. This is important because it allows different options for killing people in SCP Secret Lab. For example, if you are attacking or hunting people that already know you're around, already know you exist, you want to run at them full speed so you can try to catch up to them as fast as possible. However, if no one knows that you're in the area, or they're not sure where you went or where you're hiding, walking slowly is a really great ambush tactic, especially when you have two SCPs. Which brings us to the next one, more than one SCP, also known as Pack Tactics, which was in my How to Master video. SCP-939 is the only SCP in the game that has two different versions of it. There's 939-53, which looks like a dog, and 939-89, which looks like a frog. The reason for this is pretty simple. The lore behind SCP-939 is that it's not a single creature. There are hundreds, if not thousands of them that are hiding around the world. Many of them have been captured and then killed, but in general there are multiple different types of 939s. There's not one specific type. Once again, 939 is unique in the way that it is the only SCP with multiple versions in SCP Secret Lab. So why is this important? Having two SCPs that do the same thing is very, very powerful, especially when you work together. For example, splitting up to attack a prey. Because you're slightly slower than humans, it is sometimes very annoying to try to catch up to them, because they always will be slightly ahead of you. However, all you need is another SCP that is capable of moving quickly to get to that other human. And as you see in this clip here, you can easily split up in order to take down a human who is slightly faster than you. And as much as SCP-173 would be just as fast and just as useful, you can easily avoid 173 by looking at him as you run away from the dog, which is why having two dogs is very beneficial as there's no way to avoid them. And remember, you can't kill a human with a single bite. It takes 2 bites in order to fully kill someone. So as long as you stick with your frog or dog buddy, it makes it 2 times easier to kill humans because you don't have to worry about biting them and then they run away. This is one of the weaknesses that we'll get to shortly. However, huge disclaimer, this does not always work. It depends on your partner. First of all, 2 SCP-939 spawning in is not very common. It does happen a bunch, don't get me wrong, but it's not every single round. So if you are by yourself as a dog, that is okay, but it is better to work with people if possible. And also sometimes if you spawn as SCP-939 and you have another buddy, they won't have a mic. Then again, as long as you have a mic or have some way of communicating with them, hopefully they will listen and team up with you to make it easier to get kills. And again, that all depends on the server you play on and the person that will spawn in as an SCP. As pretty much everyone knows, SCP-939 does not see like every other SCP. It only sees through movement and sound. For example, you can be standing right in front of SCP-939 and he can just walk right past you because he won't see you. So how is being blind a good thing? Well, 939 can see through walls. This is very beneficial when working with a teammate, whether it be another dog or just another SCP in general. You can see when people are coming through doors or a gate in order to alert other SCPs of their location, and then most likely trying to ambush all of them together. You can argue that you can just hear when someone is coming, and you're absolutely correct, but you don't know for sure if it's something you should attack or not. For example, if you hear footsteps and talking, what if it's 15 to 20 MTF coming out of a gate B? What are you gonna do? And then you go for the attack and you just got murdered. Or the opposite, where you hear people talking through a wall and you go to kill them and it turns out they're chaos and now they're all mad at you and then they all gun you down. And on top of that, SCP-939's vision is the most powerful ability as long as he is on surface. If you've never been on the surface as SCP-939, he has wall hacks as long as he is on the surface, which looks kinda like this. This unique ability allows 939 to be very useful during the end game. When nuke goes off and everyone's outside and you need to kill the last remaining humans before another wave of chaos or MTF spawns in, what if they're hiding? How are you gonna find them? 939 is the only SCP that can see everyone no matter where they are. Like for example here, if you just went outside the gate B to kill the last 2 or 3 people, you just go outside, you look around for a second, you're like, whoa, there's people right there. And boom, it's game over, you win, they're all dead, good game. This is also very useful when someone is hiding in nuke room, as you never know when someone is inside nuke room just camping there or hiding in there in general. And that leads us to our last strength, is the fact that he can voice chat with people. When you hold V as the dog, you can talk to people. Now, depending on the server you play on, this is available to multiple SCPs. 939 can always talk to people no matter what server he's on as long as you hold V. Depending on the server you play on, this is a very useful tool for teaming with other people. If you're on a server where Chaos and SCPs can team up, you can run up to the Chaos and go, hey guys, I'm a friendly dog, let's go take out those MTF. And boom, now you got yourself the entire Chaos army on your side. And also, in general, voice chat is very useful when it comes to helping people out or having them help you. For example, if you got stuck in 914 and you're trying to make a deal with the D class or scientists in there to let you out and you'll let him live. And then you actually kill him instead of letting him live. This is definitely one of the minor strengths that he has, but it is very useful at certain situations. And of course, you can always use it for fun, like following someone while playing the Jaws theme on the microphone or something, or making dog noises as you attack people, which a lot of people do, and I find it very funny. With all these strengths combined, you have kind of a assassin type build. You want to target and single out 1 or 2 and maybe even 3 people at a time. Any more than that and you'll probably lose them because there's just too many to attack. Especially if you're by yourself. Having more than one target is very difficult, as if you bite one and start attacking the other, you're not guaranteed to kill that person. And on top of that, it's a very bad idea to attack people in groups, specifically because of how you can't kill them in one hit. So again, looking at his strengths, his best playstyle would be as an assassin of some kind. And now we move on to the weaknesses of SCP-939. These include his vision, player model being very large and easy to spot, and that he has to kill people in 2 bites. Like I mentioned before, SCP-939's vision makes him completely blind to anyone and anything in front of him. However, anything far away and running and moving, he can see. And of course, it's almost impossible to attack any humans if they're all hiding from you. So how do you stop this? Well, there's 2 different ways of doing it. One is working with another SCP, and 2 is using the Serpentine Technique. Working together with another SCP is one of the easiest ways to know where other people are located. This could be from a shy guy to a plague doctor all the way to a zombie. As long as you have someone as your eyes, it is much easier to attack and kill humans who are hiding around corners and trying to avoid you. Sometimes if a human sees you coming and they hide around somewhere, there's nothing you can do about it. However, if that human hides in a corner or something and you walk past with a zombie, that zombie is going to spot the human and then they're going to start running away because they'll know that you know that they're there. The other solution is the Serpentine Technique. Now, a lot of people know about this technique. It's pretty much when dog goes left and right and left. It looks something like this. There's 2 different ways of doing the Serpentine Technique. There's moving your head with your mouse, which allows you to get more area and allows you to hit people more easily, and also just moving left and right while going forward. Again, you've probably seen this before. It looks something like this. And remember, you should only use this strategy if you know there's a D class in the room, because if you're using the Serpentine Technique in every single room just to hope you hit a D class, it's never going to happen. So if you're chasing a D class, he runs into a room and you know he's in there, start using the Serpentine Technique. Start going left and right, and then eventually you'll be able to hit him, and then you'll be able to kill him. Another weakness of SCP-939 is his player model is one of the biggest out of all the SCPs. I'm not going to say it is the biggest because 96 is a tall guy, but just for the sake of the video, 939 is very long. There's a very huge distinct difference between shooting 939 when he is facing your direction, moving left and right, and facing horizontal with his entire body is very big. I don't think I have to say or prove much to show you that 939 is a long boy, and the same thing goes for the frog too. And this can also be seen when hiding around corners. 939s cannot hide around corners, especially in elevators. If you try to hide around a corner or inside of an elevator as a dog, you will be seen. you will 1000% be seen because your head sticks out so much. So in order to solve that solution, it's pretty simple. Instead of hiding directly in the corner of an elevator, just stand right in the middle. If you're trying to hide behind a door to ambush your prey or something, don't stand directly on the door. Give the door some space, that way your head doesn't poke through the door. One of my favorite spots to go to when playing as SCP-939 is on top of the shelves at the entrance zone area. It is in that cafeteria-like room where there's tables and there's that stairwell. If you jump on that cabinet, you can instantly ambush anyone that runs below you. But in general, there's really nothing you can do to stop your player model from being too big, so the best thing to do is to give yourself some space in the hallways and don't go right up against walls and doors. And the final weakness of SCP-939 is how he takes 2 bites or 2 hits in order to kill someone. 939 does 65 damage when biting an opponent, to someone with 100 HP. There's 2 different ways to combat this. One of them is what we mentioned before, which is sticking together with the other dog. If you 2 dogs stick together, you can instantly kill someone in a single swoop. Another way to solve this problem is, as we discussed before, by ambushing your prey. If you jump on top of someone or hide around a corner and attack them out of nowhere, the person you are attacking will most likely not be able to react to the first bite, and making the second bite much easier to do, as they will probably panic and spin around for a second. Attacking someone head on is very hard to do when you're a dog, mainly because after the first bite they start running away. Hiding around in corners and ambushing people is one of the best ways to get kills as 939. Another great way is by cornering people. If you corner someone inside of a room or area, it's very easy to bite them once, back up, and bite them again. Because it takes 2 bites to kill people, if you attack a group of MTF or Chaos Insurgency, you will bite one MTF and then probably lose where he went. And now you're going to bite another MTF and continue that cycle, and you have a whole bunch of MTF that are damaged but none of them are dead, which is again why ambushing is one of the best possible things you can do as 939. And those are how to counter some of the weaknesses of SCP-939. So let's have a quick recap of everything. His strengths is that he's really fast. There's 2 of them, so you can work together to get rid of the weakness of 2 bites. His vision allows him to see multiple people from outside walls and such, which also allows many different combos with other SCPs and ambush tactics. The ability to talk can be very useful when it comes to confusing your opponents. To combat your blindness, you can always have another SCP work together with you to be your eyes, as well as using the Serpentine Technique. Your player model is very large, so don't hide directly in a corner, but go slightly outside of that corner's boundary. And like we said before, because you kill people in 2 bites, it's always good to work with another dog or a zombie, and if you don't have any of that, you should single out people that are by themselves or in corners, that way you can easily kill them. When you combine all of this together, you have the playstyle of a scout/assassin. It is very difficult and a bad decision to try to take out an entire group all on your own, which is why asking other SCPs to help you and telling them where they are is a lot more useful than trying to 1v20. Alright, so that is an actual guide on playing as SCP-939. Sometimes he could be a tank because he has a large hitbox that protects other SCPs behind him and he has a lot of health, but most of the time I think being a scout/assassin is the best form of playstyle for SCP-939. I plan on making this a series with all the other SCPs in the game, so I really hope this goes well. And again, thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in the next video. Have a great day.